Leo friends, let me just say this up front. Something big is headed your way, and it's not just luck. It's overdue. A wave of fortune is building right now, one that carries more than just money. It carries recognition, release, and something golden that's meant only for you. And somewhere out there, someone is starting to feel the weight of losing your presence. That part matters too. But let's slow it down for a second. Because if you're here watching this today, it's not by chance. You didn't click on this video just for entertainment. You felt something shift. A pull. A whisper. That's the real reason you're here. I don't say this lightly. You've been putting in work behind the scenes, haven't you? Changing plans. Starting over. Giving it one last try, maybe 5, 6, 10 last tries. I see you. And more importantly, the universe sees you too. It's been keeping score in ways you couldn't always see. So here's the truth, you're not behind. You're being aligned. And what you're stepping into now isn't a surprise gift, it's spiritual compensation. You earned this moment. You grew into it. The image that keeps coming to me is this: a lion, your lion standing at the edge of the shore just as the sun rises. Not roaring, not fighting, just standing in stillness. Behind you, storms. Ahead of you, gold waves rolling in. You don't chase the wave. The wave is already moving toward you. This is what makes Leo different. When your season shifts, everything around you has to shift too. You don't move alone, you shift atmospheres. And yes, that can be exhausting. People don't always know what it costs to carry light the way you do. That's why I want you to pause, right now, and check in with yourself. Can you feel the energy starting to move again? Can you feel the weight lifting, like something big is about to snap into place? If even a small part of you is saying yes, drop a comment below right now and say, I can feel the wave coming. That's not just for the algorithm. That's your declaration. That's your line in the sand. Write it. Claim it. Own it. And before we go any further, I just want to say thank you. Truly. Every time you like, comment, subscribe, or just silently return to this channel, you're keeping something rare alive, a space where real transformation can happen. Your energy makes this possible. You're not just a viewer. You're part of this collective heartbeat we're building here. So thank you from the deepest place in me. And please believe this, you will want to stay with me until the very last minute of today's reading. Because what's unfolding here isn't vague inspiration. It's a real pattern, and it's about to hit your life in a real way. So now I have to ask, what brought you here, Leo? What shift in your soul, your circumstances, your relationships made you press play today? Was it the silence that followed someone's absence? Was it the inner voice saying, there's more for me? Was it the weariness of holding yourself together in a world that didn't quite see you? Whatever it was, trust it. You're in the right place. And the next few minutes might just confirm everything your heart already knows. Ready to begin? You've been walking through a long hallway with no doors. That's what this cycle has felt like for you, hasn't it? Like you've been trying to figure out the right direction, switching approaches, rerouting plans, only to end up in the same place waiting for something to give. For a while, it felt like the world kept turning but left you behind. Everyone else seemed to be getting ahead, building their lives, finding their moments. And you? You were still building from the inside. Quietly. Alone. That's not failure. That's preparation. See, some seasons in life aren't meant for harvesting. They're meant for rooting. And you've been doing just that, growing your strength where no one could see it. And now, finally, the timing is catching up to you. The sky is shifting, the pieces are aligning, and the door that once felt invisible is starting to glow. When the sun forms a trine with Saturn, like it is right now, it's not just cosmic noise, it's divine rhythm. Saturn, the taskmaster, doesn't hand out blessings easily. But when he does, it's never temporary. It's the kind of reward that lasts, the kind that honors the parts of you no one applauded, the efforts no one saw. And the sun? That's you, Leo. That's your essence. When your natural radiance is met with the maturity of Saturn's timing, it creates something rare, a breakthrough that doesn't just look good, it is good inside and out. A moment that comes with roots, not just results. This is the end of a long inner chapter. And it's not just closing quietly, it's being recognized. That's what the World card reflects in tarot: closure with acknowledgement, evolution with celebration. You're not just exiting a hard phase, you're graduating. And the Six of Wands says you're doing it with grace. With power. With all eyes about to turn toward you, just when you thought no one noticed how long you held on. Here's the thing about doors: they don't open just because you're tired. They open when you're ready to walk through them as someone new. And you? You're not who you were at the start of this. You're wiser. Clearer. More anchored in what matters. You're no longer begging life to give you something. You're showing life that you've become someone worth giving to. So now the question isn't whether or not it's coming, it is. The question is, will you step through the door when it does? Will you let yourself be seen, be received, be celebrated even after years of being overlooked? Because readiness is not a feeling. Readiness is a decision. If this speaks to something deep in your chest, don't keep that to yourself. Comment right now: I'm ready to receive what I've earned. Let the words come from your core. Write it for yourself. That's your contract with this new beginning. That's your moment of crossing over. You've already done the hardest part. You stayed. And now, the door is open. You don't need to knock anymore. You just need to walk in. What happens when you've done the inner work, and the outer world finally starts to catch up? That's where you are now. The shift that's happening around you isn't abstract. It's real. It's material. And for the first time in a long time, it's not about just feeling better, it's about seeing results. There's something important that happens when Jupiter moves into the part of your chart that rules value, money, and earned resources. This isn't just some vague sense of abundance energy, this is tangible opportunity. Jupiter doesn't just bring gifts. He brings expansion. He magnifies what's already there. And lately? What's already there is you and the work you've been quietly showing up for, day after day. There's a card that shows up often when this kind of transition is happening: the Page of Pentacles. I like to think of it as a golden envelope, not flashy, but real. Something solid. A message. An offer. A new stream of income. Maybe even a yes from a direction you didn't expect. It's rarely overnight success, but it is the start of something sustainable. Something you can build on. What I've seen time and time again is that people mistake dreaming for doing. And let's be honest, dreaming is easier. But what you've done differently is this: you kept taking steps. You kept putting your ideas out there, even when no one responded. You posted when you didn't get likes. You sent the pitch when you were nervous. You started the project even when you didn't have all the answers. And now finally that effort is beginning to echo back to you. The truth is, manifestation isn't magic. It's rhythm. When thought aligns with intention, and intention aligns with movement, results follow. Slowly at first. Then suddenly. And the rhythm you've been holding, that mix of hope, humility, and persistence, is now syncing with something bigger than you. I want to pause here and say this clearly: your gifts are not small. Your voice, your skills, your story, they're not meant to be hidden. There's value in what you create. There's value in what you know. And that value deserves to be received, not just admired. If you've been building something online, a brand, a channel, a course, a service, this is your time to double down. If you've been thinking about starting, this is your sign to stop stalling. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be real. People respond to what's honest. They don't need polish. They need presence. And yes, this may involve saying yes to something unfamiliar. Maybe a collaboration. Maybe someone reaching out from overseas. Maybe a small opportunity that feels too small, but leads to something larger. Don't overlook the door just because it isn't gold-plated yet. If anything in you is whispering, "This might be my moment," don't dismiss that voice. Say yes. Say it out loud. And if it feels right, type it in the comments below. Let it be your confirmation to yourself: I am valuable, and my value will be paid in gold. Because here's the thing: the dream isn't just to be seen. It's to be supported. And you're not just hoping for more, you've become more. That's why this wave of opportunity is finally reaching your shore. You're not chasing it. It's meeting you. Right on time. There comes a moment when holding on becomes heavier than letting go. You may not even realize how much weight you've been carrying until something inside you quietly, without warning, just breaks. Not in a destructive way, but in a way that says, I can't keep doing this to myself. If you felt that recently, like a silent unraveling, you're not broken. You're being released. The energetic tension between Pluto and the Moon often stirs up old grief. It pulls buried emotions to the surface, not to punish you, but to show you what's still sitting quietly in the dark. And right now, something that was never fully resolved is rising. A relationship, most likely with a woman, someone who once had access to your softest places, is being energetically dismantled. This might be a mother, a friend, an old partner, someone who, intentionally or not, shaped the way you learned to suppress your needs. Maybe they demanded too much. Maybe they withheld too much. Either way, the dynamic taught you how to carry more than your share, and to question your worth every time you wanted to set it down. You did your best with what you had. You tried to fix it. You blamed yourself for not being enough. You carried guilt that never belonged to you. But the truth is, no matter how tightly you held on, it wasn't yours to fix. You don't have to carry the entire story just because you survived it. The Death card in tarot is one of the most misunderstood. It doesn't predict tragedy. It signals release. It's the end of a chapter that has been held shut for too long. And when it appears with the Ten of Wands, it speaks directly to the kind of exhaustion you don't talk about. The emotional weight that becomes physical. The way your back aches not just from stress, but from unspoken grief. From decades of carrying someone else's unhealed pain as if it were your own. But here's the thing, you're not the same person who accepted that weight. You've changed. You've done the work. You've taken responsibility for your healing. And now, without confrontation, without anger, you're allowed to put it down. Not with revenge, but with clarity. In many teachings, the path to true freedom isn't about escaping or retaliating. It's about seeing clearly, seeing the patterns, the pain, the root causes, and then choosing to stop the cycle. When you stop feeding what hurts, it stops feeding on you. And in that quiet decision, something ancient breaks. This is that moment for you. You're not losing someone. You're reclaiming space they've taken up in your energy for too long. You're not punishing them. You're just releasing the contract. The story. The echo of their name that still lingers in the back of your thoughts. And yes, they may feel that shift. People always feel it when light pulls away. When warmth disappears. When the cord finally detaches. But their loss is not your burden. You are not responsible for their healing. You are responsible for your freedom. If this resonates with something inside you, if a face, a name, or a memory has surfaced while reading this, pause here. Acknowledge it. And if you feel called, write in the comments, I choose to release and return to my own peace. Let the words live outside of your body. Let them be your signal that the weight no longer belongs to you. Because it doesn't. And you already know that. Sometimes, after we let go of what weighed us down, there's a strange quiet. A pause. It can feel like an emotional vacuum, where the absence of someone or the absence of old pain leaves a space we don't quite know how to fill yet. That space isn't empty. It's sacred. It's the fertile ground for something new. And right now, something new is trying to find its way to you. Not because you're searching desperately for it, but because you've made room for it. There's a shift in your field. A softness returning. Venus and Neptune are working together in a rare kind of harmony right now, one that doesn't just pull people toward each other physically, but spiritually. It's an energy that dissolves illusion, clears out projection, and lets two people actually see each other, without the masks or performances. And when this kind of opening happens in your chart, especially after a long season of emotional labor, what shows up is rarely random. For some of you, this may mean the return of a current or past partner, but with a very different energy. It's not about repeating the same old patterns. It's about facing each other honestly, perhaps for the first time. It's the conversation that starts with, here's who I've become, rather than, here's what you did. For couples who've been weathering tension, this is a window to reset. Not to rewind, but to rebuild. Maybe that means moving in together. Maybe it's deciding to build something real, like a home or a child or a long-term investment, something rooted. Something mature. But if you're single, this energy is no less powerful. In fact, it might be even more profound. Because someone new is being drawn to the energy you now carry, not the version of you that chased or performed, but the version that simply is. Someone who doesn't just want romance, but wants reliability. Someone with grounded energy, the kind who shows up when they say they will, who keeps their promises without grand speeches. Think less fireworks, more foundation. Not a whirlwind, a warm fire that stays lit. The King of Pentacles and the Two of Cups together aren't just about falling in love. They're about choosing love that's mutual, steady, and deeply respectful. The kind that gives both people room to keep becoming. The kind that doesn't ask you to shrink so they can shine, or to bend so they can stay. This is the love that expands you, not exhausts you. And here's the deeper truth: we don't attract what we want. We attract what we're ready for. That's why this moment feels so tender. Because after everything you've walked through, after all the ways you've learned to be enough for yourself, this next chapter is offering a different kind of reflection. One where love meets you as an equal. Not to complete you, but to walk beside you, fully. If something in you feels that if a name came to mind, or a sense of someone is coming, stirred quietly in your heart, then listen to that. Don't chase it. Just notice it. And if it resonates, write it down somewhere. Or leave it in the comments as a kind of offering. I am ready to love and be loved. Simple. Real. A small sentence that carries the weight of a big opening. Because it's not just about who's coming toward you. It's about who you've become while you waited, and the kind of love that finally matches that. There's a quiet kind of anticipation that's been building lately, not the nervous, uncertain kind, but something deeper. Something that feels like waiting for a signal. Not because you're lost, but because you and someone else are finally facing the same direction, ready to move forward together. You've done so much work to get here. So have they. And now it's as if you're both standing at the edge of something new, looking out at a shared horizon, just waiting for one final green light. This isn't about fantasy or projection. It's not about what you wished for when you didn't know better. This is something else entirely. This is a mutual dream, one that's been shaped by time, honesty, and the lessons neither of you could skip. And when the Ten of Cups appears with the Ace of Wands, it's a sign that this shared vision isn't just possible, it's arriving. For some of you, this might look like co-signing a lease, or talking about marriage, or deciding it's time to grow your family. For others, it might be the early stages of launching something that belongs to both of you: a home, a business, a creative project, even a healing practice. Whatever form it takes, it's not just a personal step forward. It's two lives converging toward one future. Not out of pressure, but out of alignment. There's something powerful about two people arriving at the same decision separately, each reaching the conclusion that, this is what I want, without being pushed or pulled. That's how real momentum is built. That's how shared dreams become reality. And in this moment, the energy is ripe for that kind of breakthrough. Not by force, but by flow. Of course, even when things are aligning, it's normal to feel hesitation. That last moment before a decision always comes with a breath. A pause. What if? But that's not fear. That's awareness. It's the mind checking in with the heart to make sure both are ready. And when the answer is yes, even quietly, even cautiously, that yes carries power. That yes changes everything. Sometimes, the biggest confirmations don't come through signs or symbols. They come through clarity. Through that deep inner stillness that says, I know. And when two people feel that knowing together, when they both say yes, not to an idea, but to each other, something rare unfolds. Something that can't be explained with logic, only lived through experience. That's where you are now. And the reason this energy feels different is because it is. This isn't wishful thinking. This is a threshold. And if you're sensing that something, some email, conversation, meeting, or message is on the way to push things into motion, you're probably right. The timing is almost here. You don't need to force it. But you can absolutely get ready. Take care of your space. Take care of your energy. Make room in your schedule, your environment, your body. Even simple things, clearing out a drawer, setting aside quiet time, updating your vision board, send a signal that you're preparing. Not just hoping. And that shift in posture matters. It tells life that you're not waiting for permission. You're welcoming what's already on the way. If you've been feeling that something is about to land, that a long-awaited answer is finally within reach, say it. Say it out loud. Or type it in the comments as a personal anchor. I trust that I'm on the right path with the one I love. Simple words, but powerful ones. Words that align you with what's real. Because you're not chasing dreams anymore. You're living inside one that's about to take shape together. You've made it all the way here, and that alone means something. Not just that you stayed until the end of this video, but that you've stayed with your own process. That even through uncertainty, through heaviness, through quiet chapters where no one clapped, you didn't give up. You kept showing up for your growth. For your healing. For the life you've always sensed was meant for you. That's not something everyone does. That's not something small. Sometimes we're waiting for a miracle, not realizing we've already become the space where the miracle can happen. Not because we pushed harder, or did more, but because we chose not to give up when it would have been easy to. That kind of faith, quiet, lived in, real, is what starts to attract the kind of momentum that can't be missed. You're not chasing change anymore. You're creating the environment where change shows up on its own. So let me remind you of something that might feel familiar, but hits differently today. You're not here to wait for your light to be recognized. You're here to shine it anyway. You're not here to prove your worth. You're here to live in it. You're not here to carry the weight of the past. You're here to learn from it and then choose something better. You're not the same person who started this video. Maybe not even the same person you were this morning. A shift has happened. Something subtle, but powerful. The door you've been waiting on might not look the way you imagined it, but you're more ready than you think to walk through it. So now I'll leave you with a few questions. Questions worth asking yourself honestly. What part of you are you finally ready to honor? What clarity came up today that you know you shouldn't ignore anymore? What would happen if you trusted your timing instead of fighting it? And more importantly, who do you become when you stop asking for permission and start living like it's already yours? Take a moment and share your thoughts in the comments. This isn't just a space for content. It's a space for reflection. For connection. For collective clarity. Type what landed with you. Even just a sentence. A word. A feeling. You never know who else needs to see it. And if this video gave you something today, even just a nudge, a reminder, a moment of stillness, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone else who might be walking a similar path. This is eternal mindfulness. And if you felt something real here, this is where you belong. The wave you've been waiting for? You're not under it. You are it. Thank you for being here truly. Now go and live like it's already yours.